Welcome to the Copy Closer podcast. Today we've got the infamous Mitch Miller, Father Freedom. Dude, what's up, Mitch?
Hey, man. Good to talk to you. I am one state away from you, I think.
Yeah, you are. So normally Mitch is all over the fucking world. I see him in Thailand, all over Asia, all over the different parts. I mean, this guy's literally traveled more than most people I fucking know. It's ridiculous. And now I've been wanting to have him on some kind of Facebook Live or podcast or something for like a year, but he's always in all these amazing parts of the world, but the time zones mess up and I'm just kind of a bitch. I go to bed at 9 p.m. and I'm not trying to stay up late. So this is the only time we're able to do this. So I'm so happy you're on here, man.
Yes, this is exciting. We've had some conversations just on the phone, but we never recorded them, even though we probably should have.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Every time we talk, there's always some kind of goal. We were just starting this podcast before even fucking recording. I was like, you know what? Let me hit record real quick before something happens, you know? So, dude, you just had a fucking killer seminar or event, or I don't know what you call it, but that shit, you know, one thing I've noticed before I even ask you questions, I'm just gonna keep talking and shit. You know, nobody wants to hear me. They all want to hear Mitch Miller, so they're like, "Shut the fuck up, dude." But listen, so this is cool. One of Mitch's members, I guess, one of your clients and stuff, Mike Young, threw an event over here in Scottsdale, and I was blessed and fortunate to be able to attend it. And he had a packed room as well. And your name came up at least 10 times from multiple people, not just Mike, but all these other people. And I was like, man, Mitch is making a fucking impact without even being here in Scottsdale. He's over there fucking doing some cool shit somewhere else. And you're still doing amazing stuff, man. So that's a credit to you because you've obviously done something really impactful where you're not just the person who's like the quote unquote guru who's successful. You've actually got students who are killing it because Mike really killed that fucking event.
So proud of Mike. So proud of Mike.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. First off, actually, before we talk about that, let's give people who may not know who you are if they haven't been on the fucking interwebs for a minute. Let's talk about before you even got into marketing and copywriting, dude. What were you doing before, and then how did you even fall into this world?
Right. All right. So, basically, all the way through school, I couldn't focus or pay attention to shit. So. Excuse me, guys, if I sound like your 80-year-old grandmother after 6 whiskeys and a pack of cigarettes, it's because I am your grandmother. Like, just kidding, rip the mask off. I am your grandmother, go to bed. No, I just finished an event, and I blew my voice out. So
that's how you know it was a killer event, man.
Yeah, either that or my vocal cords are a bitch. But no, man, all the way through school, I couldn't focus. So, like, my report cards would always say, he's got great potential, but he just doesn't try hard enough. So, like, my effort was always low. But they said that I could do it if I wanted to focus. But I never did. I was ADD, and I enjoyed writing stories. I used to write like full books when I was a child. But, like, I mean, they're terrible, but I would do the illustrations and, like, whatever, and the cover of the book, and I'd have it laminated and stuff. So I've been writing stories and writing books. And then I was always really good at spelling. I always was the top speller and the top grammar person in my class, always, just naturally.
So wait. So you were writing fucking books. Were you doing this like for school, or was this just like your pastime? Like most kids like do like G.I. Joes and you're writing a book.
No, it wasn't that. Cause I think it was like, it's hard to remember because my mom brought out these books. She actually saved a couple of them. And like, I'm not sure if they were tasks that we had to do in school or not, or maybe I took it further and did the whole cover and then the illustration. I'm not sure, but I don't know many kids who have to do full stories as tasks in school, but I definitely did them. And so I always had this knack for writing and always had this knack for understanding grammar and how words fit together, which ones kind of sound good together, which ones don't, even though I wasn't trying in school. Couldn't do math like fucking for the life of me or any of that shit. And I wasn't interested in anything, really. I was just good at the English shit. But then when we hit, like, high school, I was interested in guitar because I was all into music. But so I started learning that at age 15, I think. And really quickly, my school devolved into me not showing up at all. So all through high school, I would sneak out of class. Like, I'd go for the attendance. And then as soon as I was in attendance, I would actually sneak out of the class a quarter of the way through, so that it shows that I showed up. but then the teacher didn't notice me gone. So I don't know how to do it in funny ways because the whole class would know. Like, so for example, 25% of the way through the class, the teacher would be finished, giving his assignments and doing his thing, and then he'd be going up helping people or whatever. And I would just literally drop down to the ground, and I would like crab walk and scuttle out the fucking class and shit like that. And then just like play guitar with my friends, and we ended up starting a band. And that was the whole
thing.
That
shit, dude.
Yeah, so we started a rock band, and that's all we did. We play constantly, and we even snuck into the high school basement and played there as a band. And then when some teachers came down to be like, "What are you guys doing?" we say, "Oh, we have permission from the principal," and then they would never question it. So anyway, to make a long story short, we started putting on shows. And so we would rent the hall, like we were 18 years old or whatever, 17, 18. We'd rent the hall, we'd rent the center, we'd make flyers, we'd do up tickets, we'd sell them, we'd get other bands in the bill, and we'd hold like these shows. And we did that for a couple years. And so anyways, the point is it's kind of full circle now that we're doing all these events and that I'm doing a lot of writing and I've written books. It's actually like, I look back and I'm like, oh shit, that shit's kind of connected.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you're doing what you wanted to do back in the day, but now you're in the business world doing the same type of stuff because your events aren't like typical events. I mean, I went to one and it was pretty cool. It was the one in San Diego where you were nice enough to let me speak at. But since then, and from all the videos I've seen, they've become more outrageously badass, totally out of the box, and it's almost like you're stepping into like a theme park or something. And so it's cool, man. And I'm not just trying to fucking be all over your jock and all that stuff. I'm saying it because it's cool when you go to a bunch of different events, you see the same type of patterns, the same things and all that cool stuff. And what's cool about you is it's not like you hide that you're going to sell people stuff at this event. You give them tons of value, give them a ton of edutainment, I guess, right? You educate them and entertain them and stuff. But then that actually makes people want to buy from you more because they're already like, dude, I don't want this fucking roller coaster to stop. I don't want to get off the Mitch train.
Exactly, you're right. And I think it's respectful to not shy away from selling people stuff and letting them know that it's going to happen. Because I know that you believe that too. I've seen that with your stuff so many times. You make no bones about being a fucking salesman. And I think that comes down to like respecting people's intelligence. Like there's this whole thing going around these days where it's like people are stupid and like on one level, yeah, like we're all fucking irrational and we're all dumb in a way. But on another level, we are so smart and we're so jaded and skeptical. And if you show people that respect and be like, okay, obviously this is a business. I'm not going to trick you into selling you shit.
Right.
So I know
right.
Too.
Well, it lowers their guard also. I mean, I've done that for my sales calls and stuff like that as well. I mean, everybody knows when you get on a discovery call or like, what's up, like
what are we discovering? Like,
what are we just fucking,
what gender you really are?
Like, your bank account.
Genders you want to be? Yeah.
But everybody knows. So one thing I started doing, and I got more people, like I've made this post, I had 10 people like instantly book a call with me. And it was so funny because I literally said in the post, I'm going to talk to you for like 25 minutes or some shit. In the last 5 minutes, if I think there's something I can sell you, I'm going to try and sell you on that shit. But if I don't, I'm not going to try and sell you because I there's a certain shit. Like maybe a person can't even afford my service. It's just like go on YouTube or like go get a loan or some shit, Actually, speaking about that, because I know I want to get your opinion and then I'll give mine afterwards because I'm doing something that somebody else told me, dude, I can't believe you put that in your copy. That's fucked up. Like you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So what do you think about if someone tells you, hey, whether it's on a sales page or over the phone or in person, hey man, I want to do this. I can't afford it, dude. Like, I just can't do it. What do you think about telling them, well, why don't you just go borrow a credit card or something from your mommy or some shit and go pay for it and then pay her back if you really want to do it?
Yeah. I mean, because the truth is it's none of our fucking business what that person wants to do or how they get it. I don't care if they suck 1,800 fucking dicks to get the money. Like, what does it matter to me? See, what happens in business is like we got this group of people who think they're in business, but they're really just like weird, hurt, spiritual life coach people who all they want to do is like make people feel good and hold fucking hands, and they're afraid of money. They're afraid of it. They're like, I don't want to take people's last dollar. And I'm like, okay, like name one human on earth who's ever had a last dollar unless they died. Like, there's no such thing as a last dollar. You're even thinking that, you're fucked in the head. You shouldn't even be fucking selling money, and you shouldn't even be selling advice on how to make money if you think there's a last dollar.
That's such a good point. I've never even thought about that. There's no
I didn't think about that till like the other week. I was like, wait a minute, last dollar? What the fuck is that?
Well, yeah, because I mean, yeah, I've been down on my luck before, but there's always money that comes in some way. Maybe you have to go get a job, maybe you sell some shit, whatever it might be. But it's not like your last dollar. I mean, that's a cool way of putting it. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is like your mental game as well. I mean, we can have all the best marketing and sales tactics in the world, but if you're not all there and fully convinced on it mentally, there's no way you're going to be able to make money.
No. And if somebody, okay, like, all right, and you know what? If somebody has trouble affording, I think there's two kinds of people maybe. So the first kind of person who can't afford shit is the person who will who will like dump you after the first payment, and they don't have what it takes, and you can almost feel that. It's like a needy vibe in a fucked up way. And then there's the second type of person that is a person who is hungry and they're an animal. Like, I have a client and a friend now who fucking got a title loan on his car to pay one of the monthly payments because he couldn't do it. Like, he didn't have to, his thing was like the second payment or third payment. He had to get a title loan on his car to do it. And I was happy to take that money because he's hungry. Why am I going to take away his fucking hunger? And then just last month, he made more money than he ever made in his life. I think he never made more than $1,000 a month online. And he did 8 or something like that. And then I think 14 or something like that, 14K. And who am I to rob him of that? If the guy wants to take a title loan out to fucking pay me, then that's his goddamn business. And if I'm scared of him doing that, then I don't believe in my fucking product.
Dude, that's so true. That's so true. So have you, I mean, and that goes across anything, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a $20,000 product, $100 product or anything. That's just kind of the mentality behind it.
Yeah.
It's cool that you say that. And I hear this stuff and I'm like, dude, have these people never been in business before? The folks who are like, oh, well, I'm scared of getting a loan, or I'm scared. I'm like, man, I remember when I started my martial art gym with my friend Vit, we had to pay $10,000 a month in rent. We didn't have $10,000 a month.
That's a lot, man.
We fucked up. We made all the worst decisions possible, like starting a business. But that's where my mentality came from. So I was like, we had to find investors. I was fucking doing, like, I was taking my shirt off in the middle of the highway trying to get people to come to my gym thinking I was sexy. And then I realized I wasn't sexy. So I literally hired some strippers and put them on the street and then have them hold signs saying there was a free car wash so they would come into my gym.
Chicks always works, man.
Dude, well, that's where I figured it out. I was like, no one gives a fuck about you, man. No one cares. At least if you're a guy. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's really cool. But yeah, you got to be willing to take those risks. And so if you don't want to take people's money, or like the way they want to give it to you, then maybe like, okay, you can discern whether they're that type of person who you know is going to be a nightmare to work with and needy, or that they're going to be, or if they're the hungry animal who will do whatever it takes. If it's the hungry animal who will do whatever it takes, I mean, if you're just going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and accept nobody who like just conveniently has it on their credit card, or like, okay, because here's another thing, dude, in our business, and I say this because most of the people who are going to watch this are in our industry, whatever the fuck you even want to call it. But whatever this weird circus of an industry is, basically just magicians selling the same tricks back to each other in different with different But anyway, when it comes to this, if you only want to sell or feel comfortable selling to the people who like have ample room on their credit cards and they got fucking, $50,000 in savings and they're all cushy and good, you're going to go fucking broke and you're going to starve to death, because the market is the people who are clinging on for dear life, who need a life raft. And there is a very small percentage of people who are doing fucking awesome, who just want to do more awesome. And you can choose if you want to go right to that end of things, if you want to just push that. And if you do, good, that's cool. However, virtually every single person that you and I hear talking like that, saying they don't want to accept people who are, who have nothing, all their customers are those people anyway. So don't bullshit. Yeah. It's like, pick or choose. But, if you're going to sell to people who don't have money, don't be like, well, you don't pick and choose. Don't tell people how they need to pay you. Let someone fucking pay you.
Well, it's funny because even the folks who have a lot of money, like, I mean, I know for a fact there's people who've made, millions of dollars online, but not all of that is theirs, first off, right? And a lot of the most successful people that I've met, sure, they have some money stashed away, but they put their back against the wall so much. Like one of my friends, I won't even mention his name because God forbid he fucking doesn't like that. But he's right here in Scottsdale. He was actually one of my first clients who was paying me 10 grand a month back in the day. Like I've actually talked about him tons of times. He's a real cool inspiration to me because he's made hundreds of millions of dollars and he's kept millions of dollars. Don't get it twisted, but he always puts his back against the wall. He's starting bigger projects, bigger things. And there's times where he'll be like, dude, that's just so much money. I don't know. I'm going to have to put it on this other credit card. And even these guys put it on credit cards, dude. What the fuck? They're like, well, we'll pay them later. You know what I mean? Let's get the result and pay them later. So it's almost like, at least from what I've seen, some of the people who are really winning, they actually think like that. They prefer, you know what, let me just go ahead, put this on a payment or something. I don't need to pay it all up front if it's like 20 grand. Let's just give me a loan real quick. I'll pay it off in payments. And as this thing makes a ton of money, then we'll use that asset we just built to pay this off rather than me have to really come out of pocket.
Right. Especially if it's money at a discount. Then like sometimes they barely pay anything.
Yes, dude.
There wasn't a 20K product. Maybe it was only 6 because 3 months after $2 grand a month, they fucking made their money back. So they only paid 6 and they actually paid nothing.
Right.
They paid off that 6 and paid off the fucking, 14.
Right. Okay, so let's go. I want to get back to your story because we're talking tons of cool stuff, and there's already really good gold being dropped here, especially about pricing and how to go after people and your mentality and shit. But what did you do? Like, how did you even get into marketing? I mean, you've done this stuff. We kind of skipped over. You already kind of did marketing in high school, it sounds like, right? You were just probably just more rebellious in a sense, right? But now that you can actually do it, how did you even fall into it, like, officially?
It was I had a heart attack when I was 21, and that was just due to too much partying, too much craziness.
How are you going to say that when I drink coffee? I almost spit this shit over the fucking...
Yeah, put the coffee down. Just kidding. I had like 6 cups this morning. No, it was like I had the heart attack, and it like, woke me up. I was like, oh shit. It motivated me to be something more. And in my head, I don't know where I got it from, but it was like, I want to be a millionaire. It was just, I honestly don't even know where the fuck it came from. Because the music thing just went out of I was like, fuck the music. And for some reason it was like this business thing. And then, I that was like 2004. So I was like started clueless, like beyond clueless. Like, even though we were doing our own events and stuff like that, that was just hoodlum friends fucking around. Like, saw some other people putting on music shows. So we did it too. Like, no clue what we were doing, selling tickets, no idea. We were just absurd and loud and that worked and shit, but it still does. But after the heart attack, I started searching, right? And I think the first thing I came across was Rich Dad Poor Dad as a book, and that it was like him and then Tony Robbins, because these guys mention each other, so you just kind of start to piece things together. And Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, both of them like laid upon me the biggest nuke fucking bomb I've ever heard, which was like, you don't have to like just be who you are. You could be like anything. And that was like, I was like, what? Like, that was crazy, which is why, if you notice the latest Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins webinar, that it's got everybody's fucking panties up in a bunch, every broke motherfucker's panties up in a bunch, because they're like, it was no value, it was just a sales pitch. First of all, of course it was a sales pitch, you fucking idiot. Not only that, everything they ever do has always been a sales pitch from the moment you talk to them, and everything is a sales pitch. Every word that's come out of your mouth since you got into business is a fucking sales pitch. Life is sales, sales is conversation. So it's like, not only that, but my point about that webinar is like, they're like, it gave no value. I was like, dude, when I was just starting, Robert Kiyosaki telling me that I didn't have to be the same person and I could be something more was value. It was the most epic value ever. So just because you're so fucking jaded and you're so far into this shit that to you the webinar wasn't valuable, therefore it wasn't valuable objectively, is just you being so fucking stupid. I can't even wrap my head around it. Like, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, dude, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins interviewed Jay Abraham in like one of his interview series, and that was it. Marketing, obsessed ever since that interview.
So Jay Abraham is the one that got you. And now from Jay Abraham, did you, why? It's so funny there's always like two schools of thought, at least in my head. I feel like it's two clans, even though they're friends, right? You got the J. Abrahams. We'll just point it this way. And then we got the Dan Kennedys.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Because everyone's like, Dan Kennedy gives you actionable stuff and it's no bullshit. And Jay Abraham has, three describing words for every fucking every.
I need a dictionary to understand. I love Jay's stuff. I've bought his stuff. He actually has really genius. He actually like it's of course right. He has genius thoughts, right? But dude, when I've tried listening to him and I listen to Dan, not that Dan is like a great presenter with his monotone voice and shit, but I like just understand Dan. But when I watch Abraham, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm just I got kicked out of high school. Like this is a MBA level, dude. I don't know. Let me go back to Dan. Exactly. Let me go to the blue collar guy or some shit.
Yeah, totally. So I love, and I obsess over everything. Like, and what was interesting, something unique about my track is at the same time I started in this marketing shit in 2004, I started learning also how to like get my dating life in order, because that was atrocious in every single way. I couldn't, do anything. And so since I was learning both on parallel tracks at the same time, the whole dating pickup thing, actually the people teaching it were actually pretty far ahead in human psychology and social awareness and the dynamics of social interactions, which is really how to get better at sales and understanding people. And since they were on the underground so good at it through experimentation in the field, which is the same as the reasons why bodybuilders are so ahead of the game with their bodies compared to doctors, because of the experimentation in the field. They're way levels ahead. And it's the same with the dating shit. So I was learning marketing along with the dating, and I was like, wait a minute, it's like this shit's ahead of this shit. And I was piecing it together at the same time. So I actually think that the 10 years of study and research until I started actually being able to pull it off with those two parallel lines together actually formed the basis of why a lot of people think the way that I go about things is kind of unique, and the way that I kind of think about things. I think it's actually those parallel things together.
Well, it's cool because you actually got to do real time. I mean, I assume you didn't just like read a book and never apply the game shit, right? So I assume you like talk to one or two ladies, that type of stuff is cool. It'll definitely make you, I could totally see that, how it would make you a better marketer. I mean, you're getting real feedback. And when somebody in a book says, hey, you can't do this, you're like, you shut the fuck up. Of course it works. I've talked to like 100 women and this is what they do,
And the dating stuff has to do with men too. And so like people look at the shit that you and I have going on now and they're like, yeah, well, you guys can do it. Like you guys, you guys can talk well, you're bold, this and that. It's like, oh, come on, fuck off. Like I remember in 2008 or 9, one of the dating guys, he said, all you have to do, he's like, this is the thing, this is the shit. He's like, this is what I did. I walk into the bar, I see the first two girls. I walk up to them, I say, yo, my name's Jeff. I'm a douchebag. Want to be my friend? And I was like, I'm going to do that. Perfect. So like I was all alone. I didn't have any friends. I went from my house and I walked all the way down the street. It was like 25 minutes walk to the bar street alone Saturday night after listening to this dating thing. I walk into the bar, walk up the stairs, and there's two girls sitting at this table. I walk up to them and go, hey, my name's Mitch. I'm a douchebag. Want to be my friend? And they go, no, fuck off. And I go, okay. And I turn around, I walk down the stairs, out the club, and I walk all the way back home. And I was like, that's my night.
Yeah, but that's speed of implementation, dude. A lot of people wouldn't have even tried that. The fact that you did it, I mean, and I could see that working if you did it to a few ladies, but
and if you did it right with the right attitude.
Right. Now that I'm all in, I'm like, yeah, that would probably work actually, But it's cool that you actually took action on that, because that's a cool characteristic as well. I mean, we all, whether you're watching dating stuff or pickup stuff or marketing shit or whatever it might be, we can get sucked into all of this like wisdom and learning and all this, and it's so exciting. But when it comes time to apply it, we're scared to run a $100 Facebook ad or something, like, dude, come on, you buy the $1,000 course, but you won't pay $100 for an ad. It's like retarded.
It's terrible. It's self-worth issues, it's self-esteem issues. Even yesterday, Perry Belcher did a talk at our event about storytelling, and it was mind-blowing, because anytime he talks, it's fucking mind-blowing. To me anyway. You've seen him talk.
Yeah, dude, he had some China outsourcing something that somebody ripped off and put on YouTube, and I was all on that black hat shit. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, download.
yeah. And I wasn't even interested in that shit, but the way he talked about it was like, I want it now. I want it now.
Well, he's funny as fuck, and he makes total sense. When at least in that I watched all his videos. It was like 4 or 5 videos on YouTube, like a year or two, or probably like 2 or 3 years ago, actually, whenever it was. But I saw it, and I'm just like, I mean, it just made so much sense. He was just straight up. This is my impression of him. The guy was like a straight up dude. He knew what the fuck was on. He was funny as fuck. He almost reminded me of like Frank Kern, but like, I don't know, tough or some shit. Not that I've met either.
Like more badass or whatever.
Like a Texas guy or something. I don't know. That's what I think of him as.
And
this is all like from the outside because I've never met him.
Amount of experience and like the sheer experience and epic failures and wins that the guy has had blows most people out of the water. But anyways, he was doing a storytelling talk yesterday. He's talking about the story arc and how you got to build it up, and there's a villain, and you don't know much about the villain at first, and you get to know more and more, and then the hero tries to do something and he's almost going to win, but then the girl gets kidnapped and everything seems impossible, and at the end he's got to storm into the whole compound against all odds, and then there's the climax and shit. He talked about the climax of a story, and stories are so important, like how important stories are, but for everybody listening, stories sell, and without a good story, your competition will slaughter you every time. But what he said is that the climax of a story is usually 4 minutes long. 4 minutes. And what's interesting is that most people online today, if you're a marketer, if you're into marketing, most people are terrible at telling stories. And the reason I believe, this is what I added to Perry's thoughts. I said, I believe most people are terrible at stories because they have some self-worth issue about believing that people want to hear what they have to say and stuff like that. And so you'll even see this with people in conversations. They will, people who are bad at telling stories, even like in a friend group, the way that they're bad is that they'll just tell the punchline or just tell the climax. They'll just tell the point, and they don't believe in themselves or that anybody will care about them enough to build up the hype and build up the tease. And so like a good joke, the punchline's only good if you set it up properly. That's what makes it funnier. And the tension that rises and then the punchline or the climax of the story or the joke. And so if you want to get better at stories, one interesting quick tip is to delay getting to the point, like set it up, dress it up, add tension, and make people want to hear that punchline or want to hear the point or the climax of your story, and believe in yourself enough to tell that and have fun and know that it's entertainment instead of just feeling you need to tell the climax. Because people do this in their content, man. They're just like, they just tell the tip. Don't just tell the tip, tease it out, have fun with it, draw it out, make people want to hear it. In fact, the wanting or the rising of the tension of making people believe that what you're about to say is valuable will inherently make it valuable, even if it's bullshit.
Dude, that's so is that why I guess launches work and whatnot? Same type of concept or similar type of concept? Like when you launch a new product, because I've actually seen this now that you're talking about, I'm taking my own notes and shit. You can't see that shit. Can't see my notes. It's proof, motherfuckers. I take notes. But I've seen you had like a socially unacceptable your thing, right? But it was all over Facebook. You had like this little buildup of it before, and you do some interesting shit, because I can't even keep up with your experiments, to be honest, which I guess is a credit to you always experimenting, because you do a lot of cool stuff with your like organic social media stuff. One thing actually, because now I'm jumping around a little because I'm trying to remember all the things I remember you testing, but one thing that was interesting is you made a post, I think, saying me and I forget who else are going live like on this post or some shit like that. And you made a bunch of people comment and share the post. And it was recently, and you guys just went live, and I was like, that's genius. I just don't know why.
Okay, it was the one where I had a post and I said, 48 hours from now, the contents of this post will disappear and other contents will be in its place.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. I will explain this because I think everybody will get a serious aha moment out of this stuff. So I do experiment a lot on organic. The problem with experimenting is you don't get that much sample size. Like, it's just me. So like, it's hard to come to conclusions. However, experiments that result in money, just tell me what's up. Tell me it's good for me. Doesn't say it'll work for anybody else. Because I believe, as a preface to all of this, your level of positioning within your market will determine kind of what you can get away with. And there's a lot of things that people do and they teach that only work because somebody has positioning, and they're actually not the best thing to do, but they get away with it because of the positioning. Like if John Mayer came out with a guitar course, like he would just say, yo, I got a guitar course, and he farts into the video, everybody buys the guitar course. But somebody who does not position in the market could be a way better guitar player, and he would have to put out an 80-page sales letter just to squeeze out a sale. So never, like with these gurus and shit, gurus are awesome. Don't get sucked into everything that they say, because there are things that they do that work only because they are positioned, and it would work anyway no matter what they did. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I'll say about that campaign is, okay, I want to do a regular 4-day campaign for a paid webinar, essentially. Every time I do a training, I don't call it a paid webinar because webinars are typically valued at free. So I don't want people comparing to that shit. I want to control the comparison. And the best way to control the comparison is to create my own name for the damn training. So I call it a clinic, usually some sort of clinic, what I got from the music industry, which is like a drum clinic or a guitar clinic or whatever.
Same thing in martial art.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Muay Thai clinic. Submission. Yeah, that's cool.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I call these trainings clinics, and I usually charge $200 for them. And really, I'm just getting people to pay me $200 for a webinar. And so usually it's just a 4-day campaign to sell it, which is the same as any goddamn webinar campaign or autoresponder campaign you do. I just do it on my organic Facebook, right? I drop an offer. I tell them that, it closes in 3 days or 4 days. And then, you just build up the pressure and the scarcity, you close the doors. I mean, none of that is anything new. I do a lot of tricks around that, but that's not the core of what makes it work. The core is the good offer, with the time descending or whatever. Anyway, what we decided to do is bolt on something creative to the front of it, because I was doing the webinar with Mark Joyner.
That's it.
Yeah, and he's really awesome with this, his mind with virality and organic stuff. So what we tested was, I wrote a post, and I said, in the post, I said, in 48 hours, the text that you see in front of you yourself on this post will disappear, and I will basically edit the post and then change the text. And in 48 hours, something brand new will appear that will change your fucking life. Here's what to do. I would like to give you a free book of mine and a free course from Mark worth $97. All you have to do is share this post to your wall. And when you share this post to your wall, we will message you and send you your gifts. And then 48 hours from now, the text of this post will change, and an amazing offer will be presented to you and be presented to the people you share it to. What I said was, you can trust me. I'm not going to make you look bad. So this is one of those things. That's like, if you're going to do this, you got to have trust with your market, because it's a high risk move for them to share something that they don't even know what it's going to be when you switch it up on them.
Okay, I didn't know if you were done, because right there, that's so much gold right there. Because do you remember how many people shared it?
About 400 or more.
Fuck yeah, I remember it was a ridiculous amount. So you had 400 people share it, which means you're in front of millions of people, dude. That's not even thousands anymore. Millions of people. And then you put up and so in that video that you put up, it was just like it wasn't a Facebook Live, obviously, because it was just a pre-recorded video, I guess, and you guys just re-uploaded it.
Okay, so there was no video in that. That was just text. So
that was all text. I thought there was a video.
The first one was just text. And then so what he did is, when the 48 hours hit, the offer switched, and it changed, kind of like Cinderella at midnight. The fucking prince turned into a whatever pumpkin or some shit. Anyway, it changed, and then the offer was for this paid webinar. And so here's what we noticed doing the experiments. We got about just over 100 people to sign up. Now, that wasn't as many as I thought, which is surprising. It's not more than I normally get when I do these things. So that was kind of weird. So you had 100 people sign up? Yeah,
for a paid webinar,
absolutely.
all using free organic marketing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you sell shit on the back.
Of course. So
Well,
this is a pretty fucking successful campaign, in other words. If you guys don't, because for the folks listening, you can't see Mitch's face. He's like utterly disappointed, it looks like, with his campaign. He's like, it's not that much. I'm like, it's like free fucking money you're collecting, and it's like a lot of money. That's pretty good, dude. Okay, keep going.
It was just a quick little training. It's hard for me to feel, dude, I don't know what it is lately because, I'll make an organic post. We get 75 people to pay to come to my house in Thailand. And then, or I'll do a post and we'll get, 80 people to come to Vegas here. And I'm so disappointed lately. I feel like it should be a lot more. I don't know what it is. I'm really hard on myself, but, so we got the 100 people. Now I'll give you guys a secret to this thing, which was really cool. So what I noticed is that when the 400 people shared it, I believe almost none of their friends saw it. I think the algorithm fucking blows for shares like that. Because none of their friends really commented on those things. They almost had no likes. I just feel it was just a share and then like fucking virtually nobody saw it. However, and so when we first did it, we were like, this is a cool way to, like you said, expand it out to like millions. Now, what ended up happening, I believe, is the value was not in them sharing it and then all of their people seeing it. The value was in them sharing it. Therefore, they've already complied and they're already invested in, and they already got reciprocity from the gifts that we give them. And so that they're more likely to buy themselves. So in fact, that share is actually to them, not to the friends. The value of the share was for their own commitment to the offer.
That makes 100% sense, especially if you had let's call it like 400 shares and you got 100 people to sign up. That's I'm pretty terrible at math, but that's
25%.
Like 25%. Again, get my quarters real quick. But
the only quarters are the ones you roll up and smoke.
That's true. But that's really interesting because I've never thought of it that way. But you're right. If they're sharing it, they've already complied. They're already in your circle. You've given them something of goodwill. So now there's like this feeling that they like you, they know you, they trust you. All that.
And they're into it. They're into the whole launch. Like they're into the game of it now too. So it's on the top of their fucking minds. Like it's unfinished business.
And so that's a 25% conversion off of a Facebook post. And now, how many Facebook posts was it? Was it just one, the replacement post, and that's it?
So we did the share post and the replacement post, and I think the one that we replaced in that text, I think I posted that as a standalone. And then I did some other gimmicky things, like I did a Game of Thrones like blitz where I basically
I saw that.
Came up with 15 posts that were all like one sentence that was like trolling on Game of Thrones because it was really hot. And I said, the only people who watch Game of Thrones are people who want to fuck their mothers secretly, or shit like that. So I came up with 15, and I posted all 15 at the exact same time, and I took over people's news feeds literally for about an hour. People were messaging me saying, "Your entire news feed is yours," and so then I had changed my profile photo to a character in Game of Thrones with my face on it and shit. And so I milk everything. And so that was about it. I think we did another post that said like, time's up today. This is your last chance or some shit. But I'm going to give you guys listening. I talked about this at my event yesterday, but I've never said this to the public yet. So your people will get this first. This is a secret. So if you've noticed, I tell people if they want to buy something from me, like to DM me. I don't put the link in the post. I don't put the link to whether I'm selling the event, doesn't matter what I'm selling. I tell them to DM me. Now there's a reason why I do that. The first reason I did it was because of the fucking algorithm. Is they don't like outside links. So don't put it in the post, obviously. But now they're hit to the whole first comment fucking thing because they're not idiots. And then so I'm gonna do that. So then I started waiting 30 minutes to put the link in the comments, but that's bad too because if you actually get comments on your shit, then that one gets buried. And then so like we tried putting likes and replies on it to make it be the most top-rated popped-out comment, but that's a pain in the ass. So then we thought, okay, I'll have someone on my team immediately post the link instead of me. If you have someone else post the link, it's not you posting it, which is not bad either. But you still gotta. there's no guarantee that everyone's going to see that one or it's going to be at the top. So I'm like, what the fuck? So anyways, what we do now, and okay, so we have 6 full-time people, full-time staff working in the background on my social media. That's across Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We have 6 people. I have two VAs in my inbox. And the reason we do that is because if I say DM me for something, I got 300 people DMing for a free thing or to see a sales letter or for a checkout page. So we got to respond to all of them, and there's delays. You can only respond to 50 before you can't send that message for 24 hours. So they got to juggle all the replies and shit. It's a pain in the ass. But here's what happens. Here's the thing. What I realized, the DMing thing was done out of necessity, and then I realized a secret benefit to it. And here's the secret for your people. If somebody DMs you and then you DM them back, I think you already know what I'm going to say.
I think so.
Wouldn't Facebook consider them consider you a closer contact than just some marketer? So therefore, doesn't it mean that going forward, the algorithm is going to more likely show your content to them because you are closer contacts, because they message you back and forth. They consider an actual friend.
Dude, that's so smart. Hey, you've actually just switched up my strategy now.
You can't go back.
Yeah. So because I was doing that same. I've tried 2 different ways, right? Send me a DM, post in the thing, and it's just like I just never know which one to do, because I'll get some results with the webpage stuff when it comes to like, hey, check out this and get a free call. But whenever I've done it to put like a sales page, it hasn't worked. It works better when I went back in the day when I would put it in the first comment. But now, since you're just saying they're hip to that, what I'm going to start doing is just saying, hey, DM me if you want to see this sales page I put together or some shit like that. You actually mentioned that. Do you do stuff like that? You said like, hey, DM me to see a sales page or whatever. Do you tell them, hey, I wrote a really cool sales page. DM me if you want to see it?
I haven't used those words specifically, but I have said, like, if you want me to send the info, I scratched it all down on a Word doc. Like I avoid saying specifically sales letter, but I'll say it like I threw the details down on a doc. You want to see it, or I put it together in a PDF. You want me to send it over? Let me know.
Yeah. Dude, this is so much gold right here. So I don't want to take too much of your time, dude. I know we've been going for about 40 or so minutes. I know you've had a long weekend doing all your fucking speaking and performance, basically. It's fucking killer. So where can people find out more about you and learn more about your stuff so they can get part of your tribe?
All right, so I feel like Instagram is my biggest play going forward. I feel like Instagram stories is where I'm going to spend most of my time. And so most of the value that I give, I feel like you can find that on my Instagram stories. So I think you just type in Father Freedom and go to my Instagram. And then people, if you find me on Facebook here on my personal profile, Mitch Miller or Father Freedom, whatever. Obviously, there's stuff there. One thing that we have a YouTube channel. We have 2 actually, but the Opposed Media YouTube channel, we have about 200 to 300 videos on there of all different trainings, all different lengths. I got 5-6 hour trainings, just me breaking down sales letters and shit like that, all sorts of shit. And I think nobody really knows about it yet, so I'm doing a terrible job of marketing it. But so there's that if people want some longer form shit. And then just to kind of maybe tease everybody, in the very near future, Mark Joyner and I, if you guys don't know who Mark Joyner is, you can Google him. He's an absolute beast. They call him the godfather of marketing. Actually, Russell Brunson gave him a testimonial the other day saying that he credits Mark, saying ClickFunnels wouldn't exist without his help, and that he learned funnels from Mark and shit like this. Anyway, so Mark and I are going to be putting together, starting a podcast. And it's going to be super badass. And we're going to go basically hardcore psychology and mental ninjutsu and talking about that type of shit. So psychology and buyer psychology and copy. And
that's fucking sick, dude. And so when are you going to come out with that?
I'm not sure. We're planning it properly. We really want to do it the right way. Because as far as guests go, we can virtually get anybody and everybody. And we want to go next level. Like for example, even considering guests like OJ Simpson and interviewing OJ Simpson and then doing an analysis after and shit like just really interesting, cool people that we can really talk deep shop with. So I don't know, man. We're still fleshing it out. We really don't know. I hope that we can begin in the next 30 days.
Badass, man. That's fucking sick. I'll be definitely listening. So whenever you guys hear about some kind of podcast that Mitch and Mark are putting out, make sure you go follow that. And until then, go follow him on Instagram, Father Freedom, at Father Freedom on Instagram. I think I followed him. I'm not sure, but he didn't follow me back, so I unfriended him. But I'm going to go ahead and follow him. So cool, dude. Hey, Mitch, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. I can't wait till we do this again.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. You're just killing it. So keep doing that. Can't wait to share a room with you sometimes. No homo in a business sense.
Fuck yeah, dude. Talk soon.